All right. Let's go to our next caller from the 402 area code. Caller from 402, we are up against a break here in a couple minutes, so please introduce yourself and tell us what's on your mind today.
Hi, my name's Chase. I'm actually from Minnesota. It just blows my mind. I actually got you to take my call here. But,
You're on.
yeah,
What's on your mind today?
Well, I mean, I just got done watching a little secular talk bit, and it talked about how the White House came out with a statement talking about how there's like signs that there's preparations for Syria to start like making more chemical weapons for another attack. And I wasn't necessarily agreeing with the narrative the last time that came around, and it kind of felt a little false flaggy to me. And so it's just definitely putting me on the wary side with them coming out with another statement like this. And so I kind of just wanted to get your opinion on it, because it's been pretty 50-50 for me.
There's a couple possibilities here, and we did talk about that. A number of shows have been talking about that because it is so weird. There's a couple possibilities because the White House came out and said, hey, you know, we're sort of drawing a red line. We believe that there might be another chemical attack coming up. And then the Pentagon said, we've got no clue what the Trump White House is talking about. And there's sort of two main possibilities. One is not to use the term false flag, but it's possible that in order to rattle sabers, the White House is just sort of making up that they've observed the possibility that Syria is gearing up for a chemical attack. And you could argue it's to take attention away from, oh, I don't know, pick whichever one of the top 10 Trump scandals you want, and that it would be a reason a way to distract. Possibility number two is that it's true that the White House was briefed by intelligence agencies about that, but that it was classified and not supposed to be shared. And after the White House went public with it, you've got the Pentagon and others saying, we don't know what they're talking about because they are spilling secret information, which would not be the first time. So we may eventually find out. We may never find out. Obviously, there's so many disasters going on right now that we could imagine why the Donald Trump White House would want to distract. But I think you don't need to go to false flag hypotheses to be skeptical about the underlying reality of the situation. You know what I mean, Chase?
Yeah, no, and I totally get that. I don't mean to prod that kind of like that word. That was just kind of what came to mind there. But yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. It's just, you know, it's some very, you know, sketchy territory, I guess. And it's pretty hard to trust what's coming out of our military, especially with us using stuff like white phosphorus and depleted uranium. So it's just very hypocritical in my opinion.
Depleted uranium, I know less about. White phosphorus, yes, used in Mosul, although arguably the United States claims that the international law, not to get into white phosphorus in international law, but, and by the way, international law for warfare, like the concept of it is interesting to begin with, but you're allowed to use white phosphorus as a sort of shielding mechanism to allow the ingress or egress of troops or victims, but you're not allowed to use white phosphorus as a primary means of attack. Of course, it's not as easy to control as one might imagine. And how was the U.S.'s use? Did the U.S.'s use in Mosul and in Syria, I believe, as well fall within that or outside of that? Big questions here, Chase, not ones we are going to get an answer to today. But I do thank you for the call. Really, really appreciate it. We are going to take a break. We will take more calls after the break. In the meantime, you can give us a like at facebook.com/David Pakman Show.